Well, I'm glad at least this amphibian found his armor. Here's a look at the Mattel Master Universe Masterverse, Master Universe Revelation, Mer-Man. Prior to Skeletor's disappearance, Mer-Man was the Lord of Destruction's reluctant ally. He commanded an army of Aquaticans and terrorized the Crystal Sea, proving to be a valuable resource in the fight against He-Man and the Master Universe. Their inability to see eye to eye, however, often led to their downfall. Now, before we look at Malibu Mer-Man and his brand new hat, let's grab the tape measure and see how tall the figure stands. I did find this one and the earlier looked at Faker at Entertainment Earth. If you guys have had no luck to find this guy in the wild and would like to get this one for yourself, you can click the link down below in the video description. Mer-Man, though, in the meantime, stands 6 3/4 of an inch in height, or the figure is going to be 17 centimeters tall. Let's bring in old Crossbones cronies for a couple of comparisons. Here's first of all what the figure looks like with the Revelations Triclops. Here's what the figure also looks like with the Revelations Trapjaw. And here's also what the figure looks like with the Revelations Scareglow. You can see I'm keeping to a theme. We're going to break the theme. Here's also what the figure looks like with Faker. And while though Faker didn't look this way necessarily in Revelation, he certainly though makes up the same wave as Mer-Man that we're looking at now. One figure you may have seen omitted in the comparisons was the original Revelation Mer-Man. I never picked him up. I had this sneaking suspicion, perhaps a little bird was sitting on my shoulder whispering in my ear, that sooner rather than later Mattel was not going to be releasing that figure again with his more classic armor. It's essentially what we've gotten right here. They have, though, fairly enough, maybe added and tweaked a few things to his existing body. But they have added over top the armor, which is in theory removable. So if you wanted to, you can have the figure displayed. Does, though, pose one question I had, and why wouldn't they have just done that in the first place? Now, of course, they can get the most bang for their buck by just not releasing a second version of Mer-Man. But why didn't they just release this existing Mer-Man, the original one, and not just have the armor removable, which this one does? Another thing that has me scratching my head is the choice of hands that they packed along with this figure. For right now, at least, he does have sort of a fanned-out hand. He does have a swappable version to that then can go on this side. But then the figure also comes included with closed fists. Okay, maybe that's not the part that you'll be scratching your head over. It's the fact that the figure comes then included. I'm just going to grab, no trickery here. He comes with not 1, not 2, but 3 closed fists. Now, you may notice right away that the one on booked end on either side are in fact the exact same hands. Let's just put that middle one away. I don't know why I got 3 of the exact same, well, 2 of the exact same hand. You can see the thumbs are facing the exact same way. I thought for a second that there may have been like a hole in the middle of one of them to hold maybe one of his accessories, but no, that's not the case at all. I don't know why this was the case that they packed 3 closed fists. Now again, like this one and this one will fit fine on the forearms on either side of the figure, but the one that's in the middle, the one that's in the middle is exactly the same. Not even sure why. I guess really what it should have been was another gripping hand like this one, because again, like he has a gripping hand on this side, he has a fanned out hand on this side. Yeah, sure, fine. He comes with the other version of that hand that then can be swapped out. So if you did want to not have him holding anything, easily just pop this one out on this side and replace it with this one instead. Why, though, they included 3 closed fists is beyond me. What isn't, though, beyond me is the fact that the figure comes included with this corncob sword. I know that's not really what it is. It's supposed to look sort of like the stuff that you'd see underwater, but it always looked to me like a corncob sword. It looks actually less like a corncob this time around. It actually is a little more coarser in sculpting and texturing. That had a little bit of a wash on there as well, nice brown, just to bring out some of the details to this. And on the end of it, of course, you can see there's a really nice sculpted bone. Probably one of the better looking corncob swords we've actually got with Mer-Man. Stop that. But you can go ahead, of course, and take this and fit this into his hand. The only unfortunate hand that he has to hold the sword, which again, I think the other hand, literally on the other hand, was really supposed to be a gripping hand. I don't know why. Maybe mine was actually packaged incorrectly. That's happened before. Let's just right now, while I'm talking away about having extra hands, take the sword and put it into his hand. And yeah, that's going to look nice on the shelf. There is no other storage place to store the sword if you aren't looking to display it with Mer-Man. So you only really have the option, at least I only have the option on one side. Because again, like, I don't know what happened with the hands. Just a complete mess. Let's go right now, at least, take the hand off, put that to the side, and get a closer look at Mer-Man. Now, I did already say, like, this one does have more of the familiar armor that he really should have had right from day one. Now, you're thinking to yourself, hey, wait a minute, reviewer. The other one that we got before was only him with just his skin, just his body underneath here. So that's the reasoning why they would have released this guy again. Well, no, to be fair, you can take the head off, for example. Just pop it off the ball joint. And hey, look at this. You can remove the armor altogether. Now, so why again, ask me this, or answer me this, why again could this not have been a separate piece that was packaged along with the original Revelation Mer-Man? So if you wanted to have the figure displayed without him as he looks in the cartoon, you could do that. Or you can, again, take this and put this on top of the figure's body. They done something similar, really, when it came to Trapjaw. Trapjaw had that weird ceremonial robe that he had, but for me, at least, I would just have popped everything off anyways and put him more in its classic look. I know the answer is, it's money. Money. They want extra money. I mean, yeah, for me, I'm glad to see that it is, first of all, removable, but for me, I would just rather display Mer-Man the way he looks right now. The armor is nicely done here. It's all in more of a softer gold plastic. He has a little stone there in the middle of his torso armor. The gold doesn't quite match the colors, of course, of what he has for his gloves. His loincloth is also a completely different color as well. I don't recall whether these are all supposed to be the same color, but it's clearly not the case. Like the glove, the torso armor, and the skirting down below, the loincloth, all seem to be of different colors. He does have, of course, two combinations of colors. He's got the gold there trimming out the main area of his boots, and of course he's got the lighter color, kind of more of a Werther's original caramel color that he's got for the majority of his boots. But like this matches this. The gloves altogether just look like they belong from another figure. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have not colored this to match the colors of his legs. Maybe, again, like that's the way it's supposed to look. I like the coloring also for Mer-Man. I think he turned out really good. The mouth, for example, while looking at this for a second, I thought there may have been posability to the mouth, but that's not the case. It's just actually the way it's been sculpted. But I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I don't think, based on not having the other one in front of me, that this is any bit different than the original Mer-Man, other than just, again, he's got a new hat, which is his armor right here. But all in all, like, it's a good-looking Mer-Man. I'm glad, really, that I held off and didn't get the original one. It's very easy, in fact, to find the original. I think going to my stores right now, the Walmarts and the Toys R Us's, what little there is left of Master Universe, they haven't stocked anything, really. Nothing new at my Walmarts or Toys R Us's. I think I probably could easily go back and find an original Mer-Man if I ever wanted to. That's never now going to happen. For the articulation on Mer-Man, his head is going to be on a ball joint, so of course it does move up and down. It's a little harder, of course, to do because he's got so much going on here for his armor, but you can still move the head back and forth. The armor, of course, is going to shimmy around a lot because it's not really attaching to anything, not on the back nor on the front. But I guess they've also done that as well. First of all, so it's easy to change, and it also doesn't restrict any articulation for the figure. So he's got an upper torso ball joint, yeah. He's also got the base of his abdomen, a secondary ball joint. His arms do hinge out, all the same as all the other Master Universe, at least Revelations and Masterverse figures. The arms go forward, the arms go back. He has a swivel at the bicep, double hinge, of course, on the elbow, which is a little tighter on mine, and the hands rotate also all the way around. As for his legs do split out. The softer nature of the plastic that they use for the loincloth does not at all hinder the articulation for the legs. In fact, as painful as I'm sure that is for Mer-Man, you could give him a splits, though, if you wanted to. You can take the legs and move them forward. You can move them back. 3/4 of the way up the thigh, there's a swivel cut, so you can rotate the leg all the way around. There's a double hinge then on the knee. And then there again, there's the articulation on the ankle, both up and down this way, and back and forth this way as well. The figure doesn't have any toe articulation, not that it necessarily be a deal breaker. The big deal breaker is the fact that really this figure had to exist in the first place. I'm happy now to finally have a Mer-Man that fits better, I think, on my shelf when it comes to more of the classic looks of characters. Like for me, at least, when I'm just going to now bring back in. The thing I really like, though, while I wasn't crazy about the original Revelation, I'm holding out hope that the new season of Revelation is going to kind of rectify some of the problems with the original first run series. But the thing I liked about at least the Revelation figures is, well, maybe I think, like, Triclops is still way too tanned. But at least if you did want to, the ones that were on either side, Trapjaw and Triclops, were both available with swapped out pieces. So again, like if you wanted to have them more in their ceremonial outfits, you could do that if you want to. I prefer myself rather just to default them back to the more classic looks. Why wasn't Mer-Man just done the exact same way? I know. It's not the way he looked in the cartoon. In the cartoon, he didn't have necessarily the armor, but why wasn't that just something that was packed along with the figure the first time around, instead of essentially double dipping the figure and releasing him again? Sometimes when it comes to collecting figures, if you have a gut feeling that you know you're going to get that figure again at some point, it may take a little longer to do it, but you know that that company is going to get the most mileage out of a mold. Sometimes it's almost even best just to wait it out. That was also the case here with Mer-Man. I wasn't really happy with the initial Mer-Man. I mean, that's the way he looked in the cartoon. But I knew sooner or later Mattel was not going to just re-release the mold again and not include the armor, and yeah, sure enough, that's exactly what we've gone. Now, being, of course, I didn't have the original Mer-Man to have displayed along with this guy, there may be, of course, some nuances that they have changed with the original one that maybe is now looking different on the newer release. But at the end of the day, it really is just like a case of Malibu Stacy gets released again with a brand new hat. That's a reference to The Simpsons. I do like the look of this one, but I will never be really displaying Mer-Man without the armor. It just finishes off the figure and it makes him look more like the way he did in the classic figure and classic cartoon series. I do like the way that they've actually sculpted the guy. I mean, the head sculpt looks fantastic. I like the coloring also that they chose. The gold seems a little out of whack when you're looking, of course, at the gloves, not matching really the boots, not really matching the loincloth, not really matching the armor. So he's got a whole bunch of different golds all happening here. And of course, the figure also comes included with his sword. The sword is nice to be held in his hand, but yeah, unfortunately on mine, I can only really have it held in one hand, as the figure comes included. At least I would imagine it would be the case that they probably just incorrectly packaged yet another closed fist. That someone else in the world has a Mer-Man that actually has 2 extra gripping hands. And they're like, wait a minute. I would have liked to have had another closed fist. Hey, that's me. Reach out to me. We can exchange fists in the mail. But other than that, I do really like the way that this one turned out. What do you guys think of Mer-Man? Let me know down below in the comments section. Were you one of the ones that got originally the Mer-Man from before? Are you all also a little bit bummed by the fact that it's essentially just the same figure again with the armor that we really should have had with the figure in the first place? If you guys enjoyed this video, want to hit with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing, and you certainly do want to stick around for more, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell notification. Oh, by the way, just also as well, if you guys are interested to get this one for yourself, it is as of right now over on Entertainment Earth. You can click the link down below in the video description, and not only will that link take you directly to the page that has the Masters figures, but also as well, that link will also grant you 10% off anything Promsies that's on their site that's currently in stock. So feel free to do a little bit of shopping on my part. But yeah, definitely we are going to be looking at the rest of the Master Universe, at least of this wave, which will of course consisting of Buzz-Off and Grizzlor. That was the name of the other character. Going back though to the mentioned point I did in the final looks of Faker, I couldn't remember the Grizzlor's name. It was Grizzlor. We're going to also be looking at him in an upcoming review. Also a little bit of time on your hands? Yeah, why not? This guy keeps yammering away. Popping up, by the way, at the very end of this video will be a playlist. You can check out all the other Master Universe reviews that I've done in the past, the present, and in the immediate future. So, of course, as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.